welcome back for episode number 103 of the weekly playback. So I don't know why, but I feel like my camera is crooked today. I am sorry if it's crooked. The problem is I feel like my table is not completely aligned, like it's not completely straight. And then the tripod thing I use, like sometimes it shifts and stuff. So I try to use the shelves behind me to see if my camera is straight. So I try to have it parallel, like the top of my camera parallel to the shelves. And then I think, okay, it's straight if it looks parallel to me, but it just feels crooked. And I feel like I'm not straight then. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm sorry if this video is crooked. I do the best that I can. I am not a full-time content creator, so I still use my phone to shoot videos, and it's probably always going to be that way because, as I've said before many times, that I will never fully rely on the board game industry for my livelihood, and that includes content creation. So anyway, I've rambled on. This is going to be a short video because I only have one game to talk about. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about some other games that I've played like weeks ago that I'd never ever mentioned, but we'll see. I still have to file my taxes because I'm a super duper procrastinator, and yes, I always wait until the last minute to do that. So yeah, so anyway, let's just get into the game that I played in the last week. Let's talk about Wyrmspan. Now, I don't know if it's pronounced Wyrmspan or Rymspan. I honestly do not know. I'm going to call it Wyrmspan, but please correct me if that is incorrect. So Wyrmspan is a 2024 game for 1 to 5 players designed by Connie Vogelman, and the art is done by Clementine Campardu, and is published by Stonemaier Games. And this is a review copy I received, which I am so grateful for because I absolutely loved it. But let me first talk about how it plays, and then I will talk about my thoughts about this game. And I really sucked at it, by the way. So I did very badly, but I can still explain how to play it, even though I performed very badly. So firstly, the components in this game are fantastic. This is just a retail copy, and the retail copy comes with these amazing eggs. So I put the eggs in both of these containers that the game also comes with. So the game comes with 2 of these containers, which is super duper nice. And I absolutely love the egg colors for the dragons, really nice. And then I've always been bag crazy, so I always use my own high quality bags, though the bags that this game came with were really nice and high quality, so I saved them to use them for other games maybe, but I wanted to have all of the different components in their own little individual tiny bags. So I used my own bags that I purchased from Amazon. These are, I don't remember what they're called now, but they're high quality bags. So same with the cards and everything. So I will start by showing you some of the boards that we are going to be using in the game. So of course you are going to have your own player mat. And when I start explaining how the game plays, I will talk a little bit more about what you see on the player mat. This is the round tracker, and in these spots you will have round objectives to try to meet, and then you will keep track of your points that you scored for those objectives at the end of the round. And up here you have the round tracker, and between each round it tells you what to do for cleanup. And again, I will get into all of that. Here you have the Dragon Guild, which is a really cool mechanic that was added to this game that I do not believe exists in Wyrmspan. And again, I'll talk about how this works, but basically each person is going to have a shield, and you will get to advance it anytime you activate a shield icon and gain the bonus listed. And in the center here, you are going to have a Dragon Guild tile of some kind, which will allow you to place cubes on it when you're able to, which will give you certain bonuses or points as well. And I'll show you those when we get to them. And finally, you have the dragon board, which, you'll place your dragon cards that will be available for people to select when they're able to select cards, as well as the cave cards. So this game is played over 4 rounds. Basically, you are an amateur dracologist in the world of Wyrmspan, a place where dragons of all shapes, sizes, and colors roam the skies. Excavate a hidden labyrinth you recently unearthed on your land, and entice these beautiful creatures to roast in the sanctuary of your caves. Wow, apologies, I just cannot talk today. So yes, so you are a dracologist, and you are basically going to be, excavating your caves and then enticing dragons into your caves. So again, the game plays over 4 rounds, and at the beginning of each round, you are going to be dealt 6 coins. So these are the coins. So the front looks like that and the back looks like that, so very cool. So you are going to be dealt 6 coins at the beginning of each round, and each player starts with an egg on their board, by the way. So you're not going to start with a dragon placed, but you will get to start with 1 egg, and you will always have storage for eggs over here for 2 eggs. So in case you ever acquire eggs, but you don't have enough dragons to place them, you always have 2 spaces available here. You have 3 different caves. You have the Crimson Cavern, the Golden Grotto, and the Amethyst Abyss. And each cave is going to have, hopefully, dragons in them. But first you will need to get cave cards. You start the game with 3 excavated caves. So you can start by placing dragons here. But after that, you are going to need to excavate caves in order to place dragons. So on your turn, you are always going to use a coin to take a certain action. So for example, if you want to excavate, you are going to spend a coin and then plus any cost that is printed above the column in which you are placing a cave. And you're always going to go from left to right. So you're always going to excavate and then excavate, then excavate. You're not going to jump ahead, right? So if you end up getting over here, you're going to pay a coin plus an egg as indicated on the board. And down here, a coin plus 2 eggs to excavate the very last column. And the reason you want to excavate farther and farther is because if you explore caves, the farther you've excavated, the more rewards you are going to get, and I will get to that in the explore action. So the excavate cards, let me just show you the different kinds of excavate cards, cave cards rather. So cave cards, they come in different colors, and you do not need to place caves in the matching cave. So like for example, like if you see a card that is kind of red, that doesn't mean that it needs to go in crimson. These can be placed basically in any of the 3 different caves. So they will always give you some kind of a bonus as soon as you place them down, which you can see. So they're all different kinds of bonuses. Like for example, this one will allow you to gain 2 shields, so you can go around the Dragon Guild, which is pretty cool. This one will allow you to pay 2 dragon cards and then draw a cave card from the deck and immediately place it for free. So all kinds of cool abilities on these. I had one when after I played it, I was able to swap the position of 2 dragons, which I actually really needed to do. So I was so grateful when that card came up in the offer section because I really, really needed that card. And that's this card. So yeah, so all different kinds of caves. So you are going to need to try to acquire these caves so that you can excavate, because you cannot place dragons unless you have a cave to place them in. So excavate is one of the actions you can do on your turn. So again, you will pay a coin plus any indicated cost on top of the column if you are farther along. Another action you can do is to entice. Now, enticing is when you are going to place dragons into the caves. And here you do need to place them into matching caves. So each dragon that you will see will have different colors along it. So different colored ribbons. So for example, this one can only go into the Crimson Cavern because it only has a red over there. But some of them can go in any of the 3. So for example, let me find one because I know that there are some where they have all 3 colors, and so that you can place them anywhere you want. Like for example, this one, the Augural Fae. This can be placed in any of the caves, as you can see here. So when you are enticing as an action on your turn, you will pay a coin plus the cost of the dragon, which is indicated in the ribbon up here. So this one would require a meat, a gold, and a crystal in order to place it into a cave. And then again, some of these will give you abilities as soon as you place them, but some of them will give you, for example, explore abilities. So I actually had this one. So this is an explore ability, as you can see by the icon here. So whenever you have this one, you can cache 1 meat from your supply here. And I apparently am pronouncing that wrong. Apparently it's cache, but I'm just going to say cache because that's the way I've always done it. So different dragons will have different abilities. Here is an end of game one, which will give you end of game points, and some of them will even be end of round. So for example, this is an end of round one, which is also a dragon that I had on my caves. So different dragons require different types of resources in order to place them. So you're always going to spend 1 coin plus the cost of the dragon. And some dragons will even cost a coin in order to place them, to entice them. Like for example, this one is a coin, a meat, and a gold. So different dragons, some dragons may even want you to place them in certain locations. Like for example, I had one that said for every adjacent shy dragon, orthogonally adjacent, I would gain a point. So you would want to try to strategically place it so that you can maximize the number of adjacent dragons that will be shy in order to get the maximum number of points. So different dragons you may want to place in different areas, and also each dragon is of a different type. So you have helpful dragons, you have aggressive dragons, you have playful dragons, you have shy dragons, and I think that's it. Yeah, I think it's only 4 types. So you will see the type of dragon in this little green or whatever color ribbon, depending on the type of dragon it is. So you may want to pay attention to that because you may have objectives that you are trying to score based on the type of dragons. So that is the entice action that you can do on your turn. Another action you can do is explore, and that's when you are going to activate all of the dragons, or you know, even caves when you start to explore. So in this game, it's pretty cool because you get a little explorer meeple, and that is very useful because you can move it along as you are exploring and keep track of what you've done and what you've already claimed, and I find that super helpful. So for example, if you want to explore this cave, and you can only explore each cave a maximum of 3 times per round, and you will keep track of it by placing the resources it costs right on top of the cave so that you can be, you know, just keep track of which caves you've already explored. So for example, if I'm exploring the Golden Grotto for the first time, I will place 1 coin over there, and then I will start my exploration. So you start down here, and then like let's suppose I had a dragon here, then the first thing I would do is collect a dragon card, and then I would collect, if you know there is an explorer thing on that card, I would do that, and then for example I would get to move around the Dragon Guild because of the shield icon. So you're going to go as far along as you can go until you hit a stop sign. So again, the more dragons you have, or caves, because like for example, you could have, no, actually dragons, because it's the dragon that would cover this, so not the cave. So, you know, you're going to go as far along as you can. The more dragons you have, the more you will be able to explore. And then after the explore action is done, you send your explorer back to base camp. So that really helps you to keep track of what you've already collected. And, you know, then you get to, you know, it's just it's a nice thing to have. I think in Wyrmspan there was not something similar that you could keep track of all the rewards that you were collecting. So again, if you explore this cave for the second time, then it would cost a coin and an egg, which you would again place here so that you can keep track of what you are doing. So that is the explore action. And you know, in every game, you can always exchange any 2 resources for any 1 resource. So those are the 3 main actions. So the game will go like this. In each round, you will get to keep on taking an action on your turn as long as you're able to pay for it. And then once you're done, you're out. And so it may be that you're out while other players still have coins and can still take actions. And in one round, there was 2 players who somehow managed to get a crap ton of coins, and they were still going and going and going. So me and the other player just started walking around the game store to just kill some time while they were still going and going with their turns, because they had so many coins and we were out pretty early in the 3rd round. So yeah, so those are the actions you were going to take. So now let me talk a little bit more about the Dragon Guild. So anytime you would have activated a shield icon, you would get to move your shield around this board and collect the bonus listed. And in the center, you are going to randomly select one of these guild tiles to place, and they have sides for 2 to 3 players or 4 to 5 players, which is nice. So we played with the Rainforest Guild, and there's going to be opportunities like when you reach here to place a cube somewhere on here. So by placing a cube here, you will also get some kind of a bonus. Like it could be like an ability to do something, or it could even just be straight up points. So this Dragon Guild board is pretty cool. I only managed to get around it 1 time, whereas all the other players managed to get around it more than once. Like, so they hit the start spot again, and then they were able to get around a whole nother time, or you know, ended somewhere on that guild when the game ended. And then the objectives that you are going to try to meet throughout the game. So there are these objectives. So you will randomly just select some objectives, and in each round you will score the objective, and then whoever has the most of that will get the most points. So you are going to place these tiles here, again, randomly selected. So for example, this one says whoever has the most medium dragons on your player mat, you would, score the most number of points. So you're going to put cubes to indicate how many you scored. And ties are friendly. So then once a round ends, you are going to do cleanup. You will remove any eggs and coins that you had placed on your board in order to explore, and you will send them back to the supply. You will score the objectives as indicated. You will activate any dragons which activate at the end of a round, and then you will, of course, pass the first player marker. You will refresh the board for all the cards on this board, and you will again, get 6 new coins and an egg to start the new round. And then you will play 4 rounds in total, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the game will win. So I absolutely love this game. Number one, I really like, some of the additional elements that have been added to this game, which were not in Wyrmspan. So for example, the Explorer, which helps you to keep track of what you've activated when you are doing the Explore action. I really like this Dragon Guild. I like the cave mechanic, where you need to place down a cave before you can place down a dragon. I really like that. And I really like how you can get different kinds of things from the caves that you are placing, which is also super helpful. So I think that that's something different from Wyrmspan, because if I remember correctly, you don't have to build nests before you can place birds in Wyrmspan. So I absolutely love that about this game. And I really, really love the theme and the artwork of this game. So I just want to point out some of the artwork on the boards because I think it's super duper cool. For example, this card mat, I just really love the pencil drawings that you kind of see here. It kind of looks like it's a real journal or something. And look at these cute pencil drawings over here. And it looks like, they were trying to do some equations or something here. It looks like some kind of a foreign language. Just really, really love the details. I love the details on these player mats. I absolutely love the colors. And I'm really just going to age myself here, but as I mentioned last night, when I was really little and I used to play video games a super duper long time ago, we're talking about a gazillion years ago, I used to play the video game The Flintstones, and the artwork in this game just reminds me so much of the Flintstones video game. I absolutely really, really love it. So I'm a huge fan of the colors, and just all of the artwork in this game is just so freaking beautiful. So yeah, I am a huge fan of this game. I had so much fun playing it, but again, I really sucked at it. The scores were me with 75, then a player with 100, another player with 101, and then the winner had 125 points, I believe, or it was 121, something like that. So yeah, so unfortunately I did not get a good engine going, and I realized that pretty early on. I just wasn't getting the cards I needed. I just wasn't able to get the cards I needed. I just maybe wasn't, activating, exploring the right caves at the right time, maybe. I think I was too focused on trying to get shy dragons when maybe I should have just maybe dropped that and tried to focus on something else. But once I had that one card down that said, you'll get 1 point for each adjacent shy dragon, I was just super, focused on that, which maybe I shouldn't have been. But let me just talk a little bit more about end game scoring. So end game scoring, you are going to, of course, get points for the dragons that you have as listed on here. You'll score 1 point for each egg you have remaining on your board. You will score points for, let me see what else. You'll score, here's the score sheet. You'll score points for any end game abilities from dragons. You'll score a point for all the cached resources that you have. You'll score points for any cards you were able to tuck under dragons. And then of course you'll add up all the points that you got from the public objectives as indicated on the board here. And you'll score points for remaining coins, and then for every 4 resources, dragon cards or cave cards you have, you will get 1 point rounded down, and then whoever has the most points will win. So yeah, so that is Wyrmspan, and I absolutely love it, and I just cannot wait to play it again. Yeah, huge fan of this game. I'm so happy that I got a review copy of it. It's just a lot of fun, and I hope that next time I will not be hyper fixated on trying to just do one thing and then lose sight of everything else. So hopefully with more plays, I will get better at this game. So I will say I played a 4-player game of this, and it was the first time for 3 of us, and one of the players had previously played. So, you know, and of course we'd all played Wingspan before, so we were all familiar with, you know, the basic mechanics of this game. There were just a couple new things that you might, you know, you kind of need to be mindful of. But, you know, the game took us a really long time. I think we started playing at around 5:30 and finished closer to like 9 p.m. So it was a super long game. But again, I think that's because like one of the players kind of had AP and would kind of maybe take a long time. And you know, I don't know why it took us so long, but I do not think it should typically take that long to play this game. The time given here is 90 minutes. So hopefully the next time we play, it will not take that many hours to play. But yeah, really, really love this game. Absolutely love the artwork, the components, everything. Oh, and I just do want to point out this cool dragon book. It comes with this book that has dragon facts in it. Of course, you know, all of these dragons are made up, but it's just really fun to just read about the different dragons. And the paper quality is just so nice. It's just like really nice paper. I'm like in love with this book. So yeah, so super happy about this. Oh, and the back of the mats have artwork too. It is just so beautiful. Oh, I love it so freaking much. So yes, so if this sounds like something you're interested in, if you're a fan of Wingspan, then I think you would like this game. But you know, I think it can go kind of either way. Like you know, one of the people we played with is a huge Wingspan fan. Like he owns everything Wingspan, and he still prefers Wingspan to this. Whereas other players who have played both Wingspan and this game prefer this game. So for me, I only played Wingspan just once before. It's not a game I own, and I definitely prefer this from what I can remember. So yeah, so huge fan. So definitely check it out if you like dragons, and if you are a fan of Wingspan, then I think you should check it out. Or if you're just a fan of engine building games. So let's move on. So I'm actually not going to talk about any more games. So this whole video is just basically dedicated to Wyrmspan and just other stuff now. So I'm going to go straight into talking about games that I am backing or have received. So I haven't received anything else recently. Of course, I received Wyrmspan, but nothing else recently. So I'm going a bit Kickstarter crazy, and I'm not, you know, it's probably a bad thing, but I ended up backing the whole bundle from Bitewing Games of the new games that they have on Kickstarter, which is Bebop, Shuffle and Swing, and Cat Blues, the big gig, which I believe is like a Rainer Knizia that's been revised. So Bebop I absolutely need to have because the artwork is done by Wyrmspan Santiago, and you know, the theme of the game, it's just, you know, I absolutely love it. So I absolutely love the theme. And then the, you know, the other games, they have cats in them. So it's like, how can I not get a game that has these cats in it? I don't know. So I just ended up backing the whole thing, and it's expensive. So I ended up backing everything with all the deluxe components, and it comes to $137. It's called the Jazz Collection Bundle. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I feel like, you know, that these games would hold their value. So even if I don't like them, hopefully I could sell them off, or, you know, give them away as part of the giveaways for my Ko-fi subscribers. And if any of my Ko-fi subscribers are watching this, I know I am so behind with the giveaways. So I will hopefully, you know, send you guys an email before the end of this month and do the giveaways that I am behind on. I have not forgotten about that. I'm just terrible. I know I'm terrible. So yeah, so I'm backing that. What else? So yeah, I'm still backing Garden Geckos and Awkward Guest 2. So yes, you know, spending a bit too much money on Kickstarter. Let me know if you're backing any of these, why or why not, because, you know, I'm easily influenced. I'm, you know, able to admit that I'm very easily influenced by other people. So, so if you know, tell me that you're not backing it because X, Y, and Z, I might get influenced by that, and it might help me save some money. So please let me know why or why not you are backing the, you know, Jazz Trio, Garden Geckos, or Awkward Guest 2, because those are the games I'm backing right now. And Bebop, you know, again, that's costing me $137, plus I think shipping needs to still be added on. Garden Geckos is Canadian $60, which I think is around 45 US dollars or something. And then Awkward Guest is around 27 euros, and I think that's around like 1-to-1, so it's probably around $27. I don't know what the conversion rate is right now. So those are the games I'm backing. So let's move on. no super major updates, you know, still working on organizing FlagCon 2. So, you know, as I mentioned a couple videos back, that is going to be in November. So mark your calendars, and I hope that you can make it out for FlagCon 2 because it's going to be three full days of gaming in the new Ithaca Convention Center, which is in downtown Ithaca. And Ithaca in the autumn is absolutely beautiful, so do come on out for FlagCon 2, please. Just type in FlagCon, look it up, and follow us on all the socials. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, so yeah. So follow us and make your plans to come out to FlagCon. I'll be there, of course, playing games and of course working as well. So yeah, so definitely come out for that. I cannot believe that UKGE is like next month. Like we're in mid-April, and UKGE is at the end of next month. So it's May 31st, and then I believe June 1st and June 2nd, which is crazy. So I'm only gonna go for 2 days, which is the 31st and then June 1st. So if you are there, I would love to meet you. If you see me, just say hi. I'm very friendly. As I've mentioned in videos before, I have a policy to not say hi to people, even if I recognize them, because with the way this industry is, and with me having been like blacklisted by so many publishers for being outspoken the way I am, and being labeled dangerous, I tend not to go up to people to say hi, even if I recognize them. So if you see me and you want to say hi, I leave it up to you to come and say hi to me, because the last thing I need is for people to be like, oh, Sarah came up to me, like, how dare she, blah, blah, blah. You know, people in this industry are just really batshit crazy. So if you want to say hi, please feel free and come up to me and say hi, because I actually really love meeting people and I love playing games with new people. So yeah, definitely feel free to say hi if you see me. So I really cannot believe UKGE is coming up. So maybe in a future video, I will do all the games that I'm most looking forward to checking out at UKGE. Honestly, I don't think that there's that many. I already kind of started going through the list on BGG, and I was like, yeah, there's really actually not that much stuff that I'm really like keen on trying to get my hands on, but you know, we'll see. So that's an update, I guess. I'll give a quick cat update. So for a few days, I was just really worried because I had not seen this one cat, the sassy girl at colony number 2, who I've talked about before. I've named her Girly. So I did not see Girly for a couple of days, and I was just really worried that someone had stolen her. So because one day when I was feeding at the colony, this woman came up, and I guess she saw me feeding, and she started talking to me, and she said that she wanted to take some of those cats. And I was like, she said she wanted to put them in her barn, that she has a barn and she needs some more barn cats. And so I was like, listen, you know, I feed these cats every day. Like, I work with organizations. We, you know, try to trap and spay and neuter them. And, you know, some of these cats are bonded. Like, so, you know, if you really want some cats that you want to give a home to, because she said that she takes care of her barn cats. They have a place to sleep in the winter. She feeds them every day and so on. So yes, I can, you know, see that it would be a good life for some cats, but I really didn't want, you know, bonded cats to be separated. She said she really wanted some socialized cats. And the cats at these 2 colonies are kind of socialized. Like, you know, they'll come up to me because they know me, but with strangers, they'll still run away. So when I didn't see Girly for a couple of days, I was like really paranoid and seriously worried that this woman had come and trapped the cats and just stolen them. So like for a few days, I was just so sad and worried. I was like, where is Girly? I don't see her. She come, you know, because she would run up to me and she's even played with me. She's just so sweet and I love her so much. But thankfully, she has been sighted again recently, and I'm just so relieved, just really relieved. You know, during the colder months, it's just very scary because, you know, a lot of the foliage goes away, so the cats are more exposed, so more people who are driving by this area can actually see that, oh, there's cats here. So I just feel like it's not as safe. But now with spring, you know, and kind of in full swing, I guess, you know, it seems like overnight these flowering trees like just bloomed. Like it seemed like overnight, all of a sudden there's all these flowering trees. The grass is starting to get really tall. So the cats in this one colony will hopefully be more disguised, more camouflaged, and more protected. So thank God for that. At colony number 1, I encountered a live snake, which was really terrifying. I am absolutely terrified of snakes. So having to overcome my fear to try to feed these cats is just, it's really hard. It's so hard. There was this live snake. He was not moving. He was like sitting near where I actually put down their food. It was just so scary. Like I just was like just so scared while feeding these cats. And I know the cats aren't afraid of these snakes. And I know they're harmless snakes. They're like garter snakes. And the cats I've seen like playing with the snakes before, like trying to kill them before. Like I've encountered a dead snake once, which also really scared me because I don't care if it's alive or dead. I'm just terrified of snakes. So yeah, so I know that the cats probably don't care, but oh my God, as a feeder, it was just really, really horrible. Like even after I left the premises, I was just still so scared, feeling like the snake was on me or near me, and I just couldn't like just shake that horrible feeling of being near this snake. So I really hope that the snakes are not a problem, because this is like the first time that I'm starting to see them like dead or alive, and I'm like, please God, no more snakes, because I just cannot deal with that. So yeah, so hopefully I won't see any more snakes, because that's just really, really awful. You know, I'm a huge animal lover, so I would never wish harm to any animal, including snakes. Like I don't want any animal, you know, I don't want any animal to be hurt or tortured by humans in any way. And that includes snakes. So like recently in the news, like they had discovered the largest anaconda that they had found in South America, right? Like this anaconda was huge. And I was like, why are you reporting this? Like when people find rare and unique animals, why do they report it in the news? Because you know that there are psychopaths, trophy hunters, or who are going to want to kill the rare animal so they can put it up on their wall. So anytime a rare animal is reported in the news, I'm like, you people are just so freaking stupid. Like stop reporting rare animal sightings so that horrible people can then go and find those animals and kill them. So, you know, the largest anaconda that was discovered, then, you know, reported, then was found dead like a few weeks later. And it's like, yeah, surprise, surprise. Like, did you honestly expect differently with the way humans are? Humans are just freaking awful. So stop reporting rare animal sightings. Sorry, I just am going on a rant. So yeah, so I guess that's it. I guess I'll just give a quick Palestine update. You know, things are just terrible as always. And as I said before, like the US abstaining from voting for a ceasefire was going to make no difference. Things are still, you know, the genocide is still ongoing. People in the board game industry are still silent. You know, I think I would be really interested to see all these people who are silent, who supposedly care about human rights and are so vocal about other issues like women's rights, trans rights, gay rights, you know, Black Lives Matter, all these other issues. When it comes to election time and when we have a new president elected who could be President Donald Trump again, I wonder what all these people who were dead silent about the genocide will have to say then, because people like me are not freaking voting for Biden. We are not voting for anyone. I am not voting. I cannot in good conscience vote for someone who is genocidal, who is sending arms to Israel, who is supporting the genocide of a people. So all these people who are going to be super pissed, all these liberals and so-called, you know, humanitarians who are just going to be super pissed when Donald Trump is president, it'll be like, yeah, well, maybe you should have spoken up against the genocide, but you didn't want to upset your Zionist publisher and designer friends. So shut the fuck up, because you honestly have no right to speak up now. Because if you care so much about the, you know, the well-being of our country, the United States of America, then maybe you should fucking speak up right now and express your displeasure about the genocide. But you're not doing that because you are fucking sellouts. So yeah, so when it comes to the time that Donald Trump is elected president, I think all these people should keep their mouths fucking shut, because they didn't say anything about the genocide. They did not voice their displeasure with President Biden. So yeah, so they can just shut the fuck up when Donald Trump becomes president again. Because, you know, if they really truly care, then they should understand that this is an issue that is important to millions of Americans who go out and march on the streets and protest against the genocide, millions of Americans who have told President Biden that they are not voting for him again because he is a genocidal maniac. So if you care about the well-being of this nation and you don't want to see Trump as president, honestly, Trump and Biden are no different in my opinion. Like, whoever comes into power, like this country is like, has gone to hell anyway. So at this point, I don't think it makes a real difference. But if you're going to sit there and complain when Trump is president, then maybe you should fucking speak up about the genocide right now and not be silent because you don't want to be labeled as an anti-Semite by your Zionist publisher and designer friends. And the fact is that if you're still scared of being called an anti-Semite, then I don't even know what to say, because we all know that this is like the boy who cried wolf. Like, it's a silencing tactic used by Zionists to just shut everyone up so that they can kill with, impunity and do whatever the fuck they want. And the world sees Zionists and Israel for what they are. So if you are still being silenced because you are afraid of being called an anti-Semite, then you are just fucking stupid and you're a coward. Like, speak up, speak up. And if you are not speaking up, you are a hypocrite. So that's all I have to say about Palestine. So let's move on. So this week's question of the week is inspired by Wyrmspan. So please tell me what your favorite dragon themed game is, or just a game that has dragons in it. So I guess another one that obviously comes to mind is Flamecraft. Like, Flamecraft is a really cute dragon themed game that is worker placement with stunning components, really cute dragons. But that's a more, I would say, family friendly game. So if you have kids, then Flamecraft I think is a great game to play. Honestly, no other dragon themed games are coming to mind. So just tell me what are some other, dragon themed games that exist, because I honestly cannot think of any others right now. So the only ones I can think of are this one and Flamecraft. So yeah, so let me know in the comments below about which other dragon themed games exist and which one is your favorite one. And until next week, bye.